I painted this sugar skull girl 4 years ago and now I'm gonna paint her again to see how much I've improved, or have I improved at all. But also because my niece wants one. I have less than 2 weeks to finish it before her birthday, so let's get started. I'm using the same reference photo from GraphicStock as 4 years ago and the same grid method for sketching, with a pencil on grid paper. I'm trying to make the face look more like the model in the photo. Last time I made the face a bit wider and the eye sockets of the sugar skull were really big, so I'm doing a narrower face with smaller eye sockets. I'll do a different design for the flower crown, less flowers but bigger, and on the sides so it's showing more of the hair in the middle. I think it looks more balanced like this. I'll make the bouquet in her hands have more volume. I did roses for the flower crown at first, but changed them to peonies and made them bigger. I transferred the sketch by taping it on top of the canvas and placing a graphite transfer paper in between them, darker side down, and then just drawing over the sketch. Pencil lines were too faint and ballpoint pen lines were too bold, so after the transfer I fixed them up a bit with a kneaded eraser and also tried to lighten the sketch in some areas. But I can still see the graphite sketch creating a problem by smudging the paints, especially the white skeleton or the pink flowers. So I painted over the sketch with a transparent matte medium first to lock it in. And that was a good call, cause the matte medium turned grey from the graphite. At least now it will stay sealed underneath the acrylic paint layers and not smudge those. I made the last painting on a canvas board, but I'm using a stretched canvas that can be easily hung without framing. Although I guess the canvases that are meant to be hung without framing should actually have thicker wood pieces than this. I decided to start by painting the background. Last time I just made it solid black with a couple of Monstera Deliciosa leaves. This time I'll try to make it look more real with blue tones and more foliage. I painted the background blue first and then I was going to add palm tree leaves on top with a lighter blue. I was thinking of covering the carpet, but then I thought, nah, I'm not gonna drop the paints. But then I put the palette and the brush on this tray on the easel for a while and then walked past it and knocked off the brush onto the carpet, and now I have blue stains on the carpet. I did try wiping them off with dish soap but didn't get them completely off. And you better believe I covered the carpet after that. I started painting the leaves from darker ones in the back to lighter colored ones in the front. Or let's say brighter colored ones and ones with a little more contrast to show they're closer to the foreground. And then I started painting the girl. So this time the background wasn't just an afterthought. I know I probably made it a solid color last time, so it would be easier to cut out the girl in editing for sticker designs and so on, but I want the girl and the background to look more cohesive together this time, since the main purpose of the painting is that my niece can have it hanging on her wall. I wanted to make the background blue and cold and get warmer and greener towards the foreground. After the background, I was going to paint the peony leaves on the flower crown or the floral headpiece. When I realized this isn't what peony leaves look like. They kinda have 3 fingers, but I'm not gonna bother changing them anymore, so let's do big rose leaves with peony flowers. I had turned the roses from the first version of the sketch into peonies, but left the leaves as they were. I did Google magnolia leaves for the bouquet while sketching, but not peony leaves. So, is it useful to repaint or redraw your old art? I think a painting gets better the second time around just because you already solved some problems in the first go and now you can keep those things that turned out well from the first painting and improve on the things that didn't. For example, I thought the flowers would look better bigger compared to the last painting. I wanted to use colors that worked together or looked more impactful together complementary colors, red and green, blue and orange for the berries. I didn't really like the blue skin or skeleton in the last one. I wanted to shade the skin, a skeleton and skull with the warmer tones coming from the flowers and her dress this time around. I know the face is looking kind of wonky at this point, but trust the process. The ugly stage shall pass. Last time I painted very dark eye sockets, so I had to make the eyelids lighter to make the closed eyes still stand out from the black sockets. This time I decided to make the eye sockets a lighter grey to make the eyebrows and eyes more visible. But I did make the eyelashes white at first to make them stand out, and also they were very light in the reference photo too. I also made the hair darker than last time. So it's been a week since I started and I'm having a second ugly stage with this painting right now. Something's off, but let's try to fix it or I won't have a birthday present for my niece. It's something with the eyes and the chin when you look from afar. Maybe it needs some shading under the chin and turning the eyelashes black after all, unlike in the reference photo. And the lip color is too dead looking, even for a sugar skull girl. So I lightened up the lips and added some shading. I added darker shading under the chin. I made the hair form more of a triangle, but without blocking the places where I'll glue the diamonds later. I did shading on the arm and the hand and made them a bit more grey and unwell looking, let's say. I had some blank space showing through the flower bouquet that's not in the photo, because in the photo the bouquet is more dense. So you can't see the placement of the arm or the dress underneath. But I ended up continuing the dress and the dark hair to get a contrasting background for the flowers, leaves and berries. I wish I'd done that first though and painted the flowers last, but oh well. So once I'd fixed everything else, the eyes were still kind of derpy looking. So I ended up moving one of the eyes a bit lower and turning the eyelashes mostly black. Then I cut out my leftover beads and gems from these diamond paintings and planned out where to place them. I did not have the same jewelry glue at hand as with the previous sugar skull painting, so I checked through all my other glues and they were either dried up or gone rancid, like changed color and consistency and smell, so I ended up using matte medium as glue. Hopefully the beads won't fall off. I varnished the whole thing with an acrylic gloss varnish and something strange happened. Red paint started lifting off, especially from the hair, and I don't know if it was because of the beads, the matte medium, the varnish going bad or putting it on too thick, or was it maybe the partly separated red paint I used? It actually came out of the tube as two different colored liquids. I fixed it the best I could and here are the old and new painting next to each other. My niece loved the new one and ordered another remake for next year. Which one of these do you prefer? I've also painted over old paintings and you can see how one of them got transformed in this video here. See you there. This sugar